Hi, I'm Jane Holland. I'm a novelist. Welcome to my podcast on Substack. So I'm on my writing retreat here in Cornwall, and I'm working on a book that's due out in May called The Paris Trip, which is a fun rom-com. My notes for my book are sketchy in places, so I'll say this happens and my character has to do such and such. So I don't actually flesh that out too much because it gets boring if you do that. So I know the skeleton of the story, but I don't know always the fine detail. And that's the fun, you're flexible, you can sort of pivot, elaborate, improvise. So today I've been working on this scene where it's a what would be known in the film business, I suppose, as a cameo role. It's always fun when that happens because you can be quite creative with a secondary, not a secondary, a minor character like this who just appears, once or maybe twice in a book. So, I don't plan for that kind of thing. I just let it splurge, if you like. So, who is this guy? Well, his name is Mr. White. So I can't give away the details because it would be a massive spoiler. But Mr. White, so you have a physical description. You write off the top of your head a physical description. The name often just pops into my head. What do I want? Something quite... His motives are pure, so I call him Mr. White. You give the character a kind of verbal tick or a trick of speaking, and not necessarily an accent or anything like that, but, just a way of expressing themselves that fits perfectly with that character. So I've written this short scene, and it is only about, 3 or 4 pages. Yeah, about that. But it is hugely pivotal to the story. It's really important. My character, because of this scene with Mr. White, my character is now in a real quandary. Things are starting to unravel for her. I love The Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogler, and he has this sort of plot development scheme, if you like. And one of the sections is tests, allies, enemies. So she's kind of in the middle of this area. So something bad has happened to her, and it's been a trial, so that's a test. And then she's found some allies, and I suppose in a way Mr. White is really one of the enemies. I mean, he's not meaning to be an enemy, but in this situation, he is the enemy. He's the person who is blocking her. He's a threshold guardian for sure. So she's having to learn how to deal with that and find her way forward using what she's learnt from the tests, using the allies she is developing in her situation. So, it feels like the plot is really coming alive now. The story is really starting to hum on the page, and I can imagine readers thinking, what's she going to do now after this nasty Mr. White has come along and stuck a spoke in her wheel? So we will see. So it's only day 1 of my writing retreat. I've already written some of this book, you understand. But we're going to see. It's only day 1, and I've already done quite a lot of work today. So happy days. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing. Thank you.